welcome to the deep dive. So you sent over some really interesting sources this time, and they weren't about, the usual big global topics. Instead, they focused on just four tiny words: this, that, these, and those. Crucial words, though.
Yeah, they seem so simple, don't they? Almost trivial. We use them constantly. But they're actually responsible for a surprising amount of everyday mix-ups, you know? Like when you wave your hand vaguely and say, oh, just pass me that thing over there.
And suddenly everyone's looking around like, which thing? Total confusion.
Exactly. And the sources, they call these demonstrative words. It's a good name, actually.
Why is that?
Well, because they literally demonstrate, they point things out for your listener. So our mission today really is to ditch that vague waving.
Yes. Get rid of the vague wave.
And replace it with absolute precision, like instant clarity. We're aiming to clean up that communication clutter.
Okay, I like that. A cognitive shortcut. And the sources suggest it's not actually that hard.
That's the best part. English grammar, it can get messy, we all know that. But these four words, they follow a really clean, really fundamental structure. You just need two key ideas.
Two ideas. Okay, tell me more.
It boils down to a kind of, well, a 2x2 grid, if you want to picture it that way.
A grid, okay. Like 4 squares.
Exactly. And to know which word fits in which square, you just need to answer 2 questions about whatever it is you're pointing to or talking about.
All right, question number 1.
The first big decision, the first rule is distance. Simple as that. Is the object near you or is it far away?
Okay, near or far. Got it. And the second question?
The second rule is number. Is the thing singular, just one of it, or is it plural, 2 or more?
Near, far, singular, plural. That's it.
That is the entire framework. All 4 words, this, that, these, those, they slot perfectly into that grid. But maybe we should define near and far a bit more clearly first, because that can feel a bit subjective, right?
Yeah, that was my first thought, too. Like, what counts as near if I can lean over and grab it, if it's on the same table?
That's a great point. And the sources have a really neat way of thinking about it. It's less about feet and inches and more about the action involved. Think. Reach versus point.
Reach versus point, okay.
The near zone is basically anything within easy reach. Can you touch it, grab it without really moving? That's near.
So if I had to get up or really stretch or, like you said, point?
Then it's moved into the far zone.
Yeah.
Anything that needs that deliberate pointing gesture because it's outside your immediate physical bubble, that's far.
I love that distinction. Reach versus point, that makes it super quick to decide.
Okay.
Let's dive into the near zone first.
All right, so you're in the near zone within reach, and you're talking about just one thing, singular. For that, you use this. It's your go-to for close and singular. Like if I pick up this pen right here, I'd say, this pen writes smoothly.
This pen. Close, one item. Easy. And the sound is important too, right? The sources mentioned that.
The pronunciation helps. This has that short I sound. Think kiss. It's quick, sharp. Good for focusing on one thing right here.
Okay, so still in the near zone, still within reach, but now there's more than one thing. Maybe 3 books on the desk beside me.
Right. Still close enough to touch, but plural now, so you switch to these.
These books look interesting. Plural. Close.
Exactly. And notice the sound difference again. These has that longer E sound, like keys.
This. These. Yeah, you can hear it. Kiss. Keys.
That longer vowel sound almost subtly reinforces the idea of more than one thing, doesn't it? It helps the listener's brain distinguish plural even before the noun hits.
That's clever. So the near zone is sorted. This for one, these for many. Both within reach.
Check. Now we cross that invisible line out of arm's reach into the far zone, the pointing zone.
Okay, so I'm pointing now. And I'm pointing at just one thing way over there.
Singular and far, that's that.
Right, like looking out the window. Wow, that bird is huge. Pointing at one bird, far away.
Perfect. Or maybe you're admiring something across the room. That painting is beautiful. One painting, too far to touch easily. You point, use that.
Okay, makes sense. Singular, far away, that. Which leaves
the last square in our grid, far away and plural, multiple things you have to point at.
So if I see a whole flock of those huge birds outside the window,
then you switch to the plural. Look at those birds, multiple birds, far away.
Or maybe pointing to some shoes on a shelf across the store. Those shoes are nice.
Exactly. Plural, far, those.
So just to recap the pairs quickly, this and that are both for one thing.
Yep. The singular crew.
These and those are for more than one thing.
The plural crew.
And the only difference between this, these, and that, those, is reach or point, near or far.
That's the fundamental physical distinction, yes. But here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit deeper than the basic grammar lesson.
Go on.
Well, these same verbs and the same near-far logic, they get used metaphorically, too, for time and even for, like, emotional distance.
Wait, really? So I use that or those for things that aren't physically far away but maybe happened a long time ago?
Exactly. Think about talking about an event from last summer. It's distant in time, right? So you'd naturally say, remember that party we went to? You wouldn't usually say, remember this party from last summer? That pushes it back chronologically.
Huh. I never consciously thought about it, but yeah, that feels right. That puts it firmly in the past, creates a kind of time boundary.
Precisely. Using this or these for past events can actually imply they're still relevant now, or maybe the feeling is still immediate. Using that or those signals closure, or at least distance from the present moment.
Okay, that's temporal distance. What about emotional distance? How does that work?
This one's subtle but powerful. We tend to use this and these for things or even people we feel close to or identify with.
Like, I really like this idea, or these are my friends. Close, connected.
Right. But imagine you disagree with someone or you feel detached from something, even if it's physically close. You might use that or those to create an emotional gap, like pointing at someone nearby you're annoyed with and saying, I can't believe that guy just cut in line.
So even though the guy is physically near, using that pushes him away emotionally, creates distance.
Exactly. It's like building a little linguistic wall. It signals rejection, disapproval, or just separation. That person, those ideas, it puts them in the far zone emotionally, even if they're right here.
Wow. Okay, so these little words are doing a lot more than just pointing at objects. They're signaling time, feeling, connection.
That's the deeper level, yeah. The basic rules are simple, but how we apply them shows a lot about our perspective, physical, temporal, or emotional.
Speaking of rules, you mentioned grammar earlier, the pronoun versus adjective thing. Can we touch on that quickly? Does it change the near-far, singular, plural rules?
Good question. And nope, absolutely not. Let's reassure everyone. Those core rules, distance and number, they always apply. They're the bedrock.
Okay, so the rules don't change. What is the difference then between pronoun and adjective?
It's just about how the word is used in the sentence. As a pronoun, the word stands alone. It replaces the noun. So pointing to a book, you could just say, this is interesting. This is the subject, replacing the book.
Okay, pronoun stands alone.
And as an adjective, it comes right before the noun and modifies it, describes it, same book, but now you say, this book is interesting. Here, this tells us which book. It's modifying book.
This is interesting, pronoun. This book is interesting. Adjective. Got it. So why does this distinction matter for us, practically speaking?
Well, using it as an adjective like this book or that car tends to force a bit more clarity, especially early in a conversation. You immediately name the thing you're talking about. That car is crystal clear. Using the pronoun form, that is fast, relies more on context. We assume the listener already knows you mean the car.
Oh, okay. So the adjective form, that car, is often a bit more explicit, leaves less room for doubt right at the start.
You could say that, yeah. It makes you name your subject up front. Cuts down on potential vagueness.
Makes sense. Okay, let's put all this together, maybe run through a few quick scenarios like we're at a market.
Perfect idea. Test that reach versus point, singular versus plural thinking. All right, scenario 1. You're at a fruit stand. The vendor hands you one perfect, shiny red apple. You're holding it. Singular. Near. What do you say about it?
Holding it, so it's near, just
Yeah.
one. So it's singular. Near and one. That's this. Wow, this apple looks amazing.
Nailed it. Okay, scenario 2. You're looking down the aisle, way at the other end. You spot a huge basket overflowing with oranges, dozens of them. Far away, plural.
Okay, way down there.
Ah.
Definitely far, lots of them, plural. Far and plural. Those, hey, look, those oranges seem really fresh.
Excellent. Scenario 3. Right there on the counter in front of you, within easy reach, are 3 beautiful bunches of flowers. Plural, near.
Right in front of me, near. 3 bunches, plural, near and plural. These. Oh, I love these flowers.
Perfect. Now, one slightly tricky one. Remember that big display of oranges way down the aisle?
Yeah, those oranges. Far and plural.
Okay, but imagine you look again later, and now there's only one orange left on that distant display. Still far away, but now singular. What do you say?
Ah, okay, still far, but now only one, so I have to switch from those two. That. Look, they sold almost all of them. There's only that orange left.
Exactly. And that's where people sometimes slip up. They see the location where there were many things, and they stick with the plural of those by habit. But you have to focus on the current reality.
How many things now? Is it one or many? Far and one means that.
It really forces you back to that simple 2x2 grid every time. Near, far, singular, plural. Don't overthink it.
That's the key. Stick to the grid. And remember, it applies to time and emotion too, not just physical stuff. It makes communication so much clearer.
Okay, so let's boil it down to the absolute essential takeaway, the quick mantra people can use.
Love it. Let's do the 4 quick checks.
Near and one.
Near and many.
These.
Far and one.
That.
Far and many.
That's it. If you can just burn those 4 pairs into your brain based on near, far, and singular, plural, a whole layer of communication fog just lifts.
You stop waving vaguely and start speaking precisely.
Exactly. You give your listener clear coordinates.
So the challenge for you, listening right now, actively practice this week. Don't just notice these words. Choose them consciously. Every time you point, physically or mentally, pause for a split second. Near or far, one or many. Use the right word.
And here's something extra to chew on, building on that emotional distance idea. Pay attention this week when you or others talk about groups of people or opinions. If you hear yourself using those people or those ideas, ask yourself, am I just indicating a group that's separate from me? Or am I maybe using those to create a little extra emotional distance, to push them away slightly?
That's a fascinating thought.
Yeah.
Start listening not just to what people say, but how they use these 4 little words to position themselves relative to the world around them. It reveals a lot.